Greetings, friends. My name is Zane Wilemon, and I run a global fashion brand called Ubuntu Life that also has a sister foundation that empowers children with special needs in Kenya. Rarely do I talk about the fact that I'm an Episcopal priest, but today I want to address everyone as a priest and as a friend, and not as the CEO of Ubuntu Life. We are seeing something in the world today that we have never seen before. We're experiencing a global pandemic that is affecting all of us. Fear has swept across our world in a matter of weeks. Fear has jumped into our hearts and is causing communities around the world to close not only their doors, but their hearts from one another. When we decided to name our organization, we chose the name Ubuntu for a reason. Ubuntu's literal translation means, I am because we are. It speaks to the truth that I learned while living in Africa, that we are all connected and in need of one another. We are human because of the humanity of others. Never before have we seen this truth more profoundly experienced than right now. When someone in China can contract an obscure virus from an animal, and now the planet Earth is swept in consuming fear that our world is in peril. Life as we know it has shifted. But there is hope. We are all in this together. In the same way that this virus does not discriminate between genders, age, religious beliefs, race, or political affiliation, nor does God's love and our capacity to love one another. Never before have we been in such need of God's love and the love of our neighbors. I recently read a book titled The Book of Joy, where His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu converse about life. I wanted to share a bit of this with you that I think relevant to our current times. What the Dalai Lama and I are offering, the Archbishop added, is a way of handling your worries, thinking about others. When you can think about others who are in a similar situation, or perhaps even in a worse situation, but have survived, even thrived, it does help quite a lot to see yourself as part of a greater whole. Once again, the path of joy was connection, and the path of sorrow was separation. When we see others as separate, they become a threat. When we see others as part of us, as connected, as interdependent, then there is no challenge we cannot face together. There is no challenge we cannot face together. But how do we get through this, many of you are asking? And whether this news is received positively or negatively, it is true. We can and will only get through this together. What I want to stress here isn't the fact that we will get through this, but how will we get through this? We can get through this by fighting with each other in grocery stores over toilet paper and hand sanitizer, or we can get through this by seeing and realizing that we are all connected, that we are all afraid, that we are all in need of each other's love. And it is only in sharing this love by our daily actions to choose love over fear that we will get through this as a better world than we were before. It isn't good times that determine the state of our world. They are times of difficulty, times of crisis that mark the values and overall health of our times. This is our time as a global family, right here, right now. The choices that we make today and how we decide to view one another determines how generations after us will view our global society. It is obvious that we are all connected. One only needs to take a small step back and reflect on how this whole thing started and where we found ourselves in a few short months to see that. Now that we have this perspective of being an interdependent global community, how do we want to be remembered in this moment? How do we want our children and our grandchildren to look back on our actions and remember us? Fred Rogers of Mr. Rogers'
Neighborhood
Neighborhood shared something that I love. He said, "We are all connected. We are all in need of each other's love. How do we want to be remembered in this moment? How do we want our children and our grandchildren to look back on our actions and remember us?" Fred Rogers of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood shared something that I love. Often when you think you're at the end of something, you're at the beginning of something else. Friends, we are not only at the end of something, we are at the beginning of something brand new. We are at the beginning of a new global realization that each decision we make matters. It's not only our germs that are spreading, but our ideas and our energy and our love are equally as infectious. Let us take stock of what we are spreading, how and why. Let us not only observe hand-washing principles for cleanliness, but also start observing a different way of living. Let us start living more actively into this awareness of a global, interconnected community. Less fear, more love will lead us to becoming that generation that births something so powerfully new in a time of great difficulty. Loneliness is very real. Feelings of isolation are very real. Anxiety every time we pick up our phones and look at the media is very real. How to alleviate this loneliness, these feelings of isolation and anxiety. At Ubuntu, we are going to use this time to support our global community by providing you all with resources on both our website and our social channels. I too will use this time to personally offer space for guided meditations and reflections every morning. This is something that I do daily, and I think in today's time, the best thing we can offer one another are our gifts, our daily rituals, and our knowledge. My area of knowledge, other than running Ubuntu Life, is being a priest, a healer, and practicing daily centering. If any of you are in need of a daily dose of centering, please tune in to the Ubuntu Life Instagram account at ubuntu.life at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time each morning, and I will be there offering some daily reflections. These will be centered within love and not evangelizing any certain belief system, but truly creating a safe, hospitable space for us to gather as a community to be together, finding our center together. During this time, may we do all that we can to protect the world's most vulnerable. May we lift up the elderly and the infirmed, as this virus is particularly harmful to that part of our global family. I will be sharing more updates with you all later this week. Thank you for listening. With love and an abundant heart, I thank you. Big love.